today I want to work with a code. Let's start with our writing our first code. Okay. So if you want to go here, you do not always start with Anaconda Navigator. Anaconda Navigator as every other tool where you need not do this. You need not write this. You can simply go and take something called Jupyter Notebook. Okay. You can simply directly start Jupyter Notebook. Now, as I said, there are n number of tools. We'll be focusing mainly with Jupyter Notebook because that's easy for us to understand. The readability is good. It is easy for us to compute the calculations and it is easy for us to see the results, right? So let me go and click this Jupyter Notebook. Now, the moment I click the Jupyter Notebook, it directly opens this page. It directly opens this page. Okay. In this page, we can simply go and click the new and go to Python. Automatically, it will open a one plain page. Okay, it actually opens one plain page. Now here we can start writing our code, right? We can start writing our code. To make it this as a notes itself, right? You need not maintain a separate notes. Whatever you're writing as a code, you can make this as a notes, and that's why it's called a notebook, Jupyter Notebook, right? Each one can maintain their own notes. So please name this sheet. Please name the sheet. You can simply go here and you can simply go and name the sheet. So I will say this as Python. Okay, and today's date I'll give. You can maintain as a notes. Okay. So whatever we do, we can actually practice it. We can keep it as a notes. It will be reference for your future. So everyone start maintaining your own notes. This notebook is most flexible where you can practice, you can do, you can write whatever you want and you keep it for your future reference. The first thing which I will go and write is, I'll go and say, write our first code, print off, welcome to data work. Okay. And for running, you can either press shift enter or you can press run here. Okay. For running the code, either you can press shift enter or you can press this run the code. Okay. Now, whatever I write after this it's considered as a comment. Okay. It is only for your understanding. It is only for my understanding. Okay. So this code, it will not get executed. Whatever I write after that hash symbol, it's called comments. So usually for every programming language, there is a way that we define the comments. So if we define the comments, it is for understanding. So if someone sees this, right, they should know what it is. It should know what it is, correct? Now this is a print statement and I'm printing the first line, right? Now, if I go here, if I go and write again, print of KSR. Now if I go and write here, again, either you press shift enter or you please go and press enter. Now if you see, now you are getting an error. Now you are getting an error, right? Line number 1, you did not get any error. Line number 2, you got some error. Why? What is the difference you see?
Capital P. Capital P.
Because of capital P. Okay, it is because of capital P. As I said, you write a hash symbol, it is considered as a comments. Okay, and I will write one comment saying that here print is there, right? The capital P. The capital P. Actually, the print is not a keyword. Always remember when we are talking about a language, right? It's in English or it's a local language. It could be any language. You have some keywords, right? For example, I don't know, in English, we call it as water, right? We call it as water. In English, water is water. In Hindi, do you call water? No, you call it as pani, right? Like this. Each language, they have their own way of defining the water, right? So they have their own way of defining water. They have their own word. They have their own keyword. That word, if you use only, then it is meaning that water. Similarly, here also, print means you can print what has been written inside the quotes. But one thing which you need to think over is your print has to be a keyword. You cannot give as you like. You cannot give as you like. You should always go with keywords. So keyword is something which is already predefined. Keyword is something which is already predefined. Here, the second line is not working because we have given a capital P. We have given a capital P. Okay. Now, Let's try why it's not working. If I give a equal shift enter, or you can go and press this, right? And you have done this, correct? Now what I will do, after that, I will go and write print of a. I'm assigning some value to a and I'm printing. It's working, right? It's working. If I give a equal to Santosh and I'm printing a, it's working. The same way, if I go and give a print of a, system will not work. So with the line number 356, we need to understand that small a is not equal to capital A. I have assigned small a equal to some value, but you are going and giving capital A, it will not work. So this clearly indicates that Python is case sensitive or case insensitive?
Case sensitive.
Case sensitive. That means you have to maintain the case as well. If you are using a small letter, you have to use a small letter only. If you're using a big letter, you have to use a big letter only. For small letter assignment, you cannot go and give the big assignment. It's not possible. Okay. Now with this, I can clearly come to conclusion, right? Small p and big P, there is a difference, and that is why it is not working, right? So with this example, we can come to a conclusion that small p is not equal to capital P, and that is why line number 1 and line number 2 are different. Again, I'm telling you, keywords are something which already they have defined 30 years back. You cannot go and change it. You cannot give as you like. You have to always maintain the standard, and you should also use what they have defined. You cannot give as you like, right? So with that, let's move forward. Okay, now I can assign values like this. B equal to KSR data vision, right? Key equal to data. After that, equal to 7 and D equal to 3.14. Now I'm assigning value, just like I'm assigning A to, I'm assigning my name to A. Here also I'm assigning B equal to KSR data vision, C equal to 7, D equal to 3.14. And I've pressed shift enter. I'll come back to the next line. Okay. Now, if I ask you, in your kitchen, right? In your home, in your kitchen, you have small containers, right? In one, maybe you would have stored sugar. In one, you would have stored salt. In one, you would have stored maybe rice. So like this, you have stored some things in the containers, small containers, right? Very easy question. If I ask you, why you really need a container in your kitchen? The answer you will give is to store some values. Right? So you will tell me that I need these containers to store some items. Here also, what I will do in future, if I want to use this word, in future, if I want to use this number, in future, if I want to use this number, I will store it in one variable. This is called variables. Okay. Now, let me define what is variables. See, variables has n number of definitions. If you go to Google, if you go to ChatGPT, you'll get n number of answers, but we will define with our own understanding. Okay. Now, variables are placeholders. Store it and it will be useful for future purpose. Okay. Variables are placeholders. That means it is like a containers. You can store something and you can use it for future, right? Something which can store your value and it can be used for future, we call it as a variable. Now A equal to Santosh, B equal to KSR data vision, and C equal to 7, D equal to 3.14. I can actually use this anytime at any point of time in future also, because the values are already stored. Okay. Now, let me go and give another example. Here, I'm assigning Santosh to small a, but I'm trying to print that a. It's not working. It's not working. This clearly indicates that the Python is case sensitive. So the second point in variables also I can write is variables are case sensitive. That means you cannot give capital A or small a. If you give a capital A, you have to give the capital A. If you are giving a small a, you have to give the small a. Okay. Now, this A, B, C, D is actually not that user-friendly names, right? So this user-friendly names, it's not that user-friendly names. Okay, see, if in your kitchen also, you have a very similar containers, small containers, right? In one thing you'll put salt, in one thing you'll put chili powder, in one bit you'll put salt, sugar, right? So you don't know what is what. So on the top of the container, you put a small paper and write it. This is for salt. This is for sugar. This is for chili powder. So you are actually naming the container with a proper way so that it can be accessible. If someone of your relative comes to your kitchen for cooking and helping you, they'll actually literally struggle. They'll ask, hey, where is this? Where is sugar? Where is salt? Where is chili powder? They'll be confused. But if you go and paste that on the white paper on that container, they will not even ask you. They can also find themselves, right? So what I will do, as of I take this example, we have 58 students in the class. Okay, out of 58 students, I will say that A equal to 54 or 58. Now this is acceptable. Acceptable. You can keep it like this. But what is this A? What is this A? I don't know what is this A, correct? So I will do like this. Total. So I'll give total students equal to 58. So if I go and print this, total students, so the total number of students who have attended the class today is 58. Okay. Now this is acceptable. Okay. This is also okay for me. If you want to name like this, I'm okay with this. If you want to name like this, I'm okay with this. Whatever you want, you can okay. I mean, you can name it. Okay. I'm not here. I'm not putting any restriction. You can write A equal to 48. You can write total students equal to 58. You can write students equal to 58. I don't have any problem. You can also write it like this. This is also fine. I'm okay. Okay. This is also I'm okay. Okay. Now, I'm also okay if you're giving TS equal to 58. This is also okay. I'm okay for me. Okay. And I'm also okay for this also. Total students equal to 58. In order to assign a value, you can use n number of ways to do it. Okay. See, I want to use this total students. See, in this total students, I need to see how many have got placed, how many have not got placed. Maybe I will be using in future. So I need to assign this value. 58 is a total number of students who have attended today's session. I want to go and track that. So for that, I'm saving in some container. Now, all the names I've given, A, total students, total students, TS, total underscore students, everything I'm okay with it. Okay. Now, let me tell you what I am not okay with it. Okay. Let me tell you what I'm not okay with it. I am not okay with this. Okay. Even if I've done this, that not okay for me is the only one which is giving you the error. Even if I do this, everyone else, everything else, see, for example, if I don't write it, and if I go and run it, it has not thrown any error. It has not thrown any error. The only one thing which has thrown me error is this one. Okay, so that means the problem with this code is when you are assigning any value to a variable, I cannot accept this, not acceptable, because variables has to be a single word. Variable has to be a single word. You cannot define whatever you like. Okay, so I would say that here the third point about variables is variable names should be single word. That's why I said acceptable, 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 acceptable. It is still one word, but I will not accept this. Right? So in fact, in future, if you want to assign any variable, please keep in mind that always it has to be a single word. You cannot give whatever you like. Right? You cannot give whatever you like. Okay. Now, okay, this is not okay for me, but let's see what and all is acceptable. Okay. Let's see what and all is acceptable. I can still go and give total underscore students. Okay. Total underscore students. And I can give something called 58. Now this is acceptable. Now this is acceptable. Okay. So that means I can say that, and the one which I've used to make as a single word is I have used underscore. Underscore special character is acceptable. Okay. Now this is acceptable, followed by, let's go and see what and all is acceptable. Okay. If I want to give this students equal to 95, it's acceptable. This also is acceptable. Okay. What not acceptable, I'll tell you. Total. You give any other special character. Instead of underscore, you give any other special character. It will not work. So don't think this is an underscore. Okay. Don't think it's an underscore. So the only acceptable special character is whatever I'm learning. Actually, I'm making notes. That's why I said this is really good. Variable names can have only one special character, and that is, okay, special characters like this one, 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 not allowed. Not allowed. Okay. Are we good? Are you all with me? Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now let's talk about another one. Here I will go and sorry. Now I'll go and give another variable. Okay. Let me go and give Dhoni equal to the best finisher. I'll give the Dhoni best finisher. Okay. The value which I'm storing here, the best finisher, is actually the content I'm storing with the variable called Dhoni. Now I'll go and enter. Now you may ask me, why have you used capital? See, I can give capital, but if I give capital, I need to also access with capital only. If I want to access, I need to go and access like this only. Now Dhoni will not be defined, but if I go and give big D, it will come. Okay. Now this is acceptable. This is acceptable. I will go and say Dhoni 7 equal. Okay. This also will work. So print off, right? So this will also work. Now I have given actually is a jersey number is 7. Okay. So that's why I've given Dhoni 7 equal to best cricket is working. Only Dhoni is working. So similarly, if I give 7 Dhoni equal to best person, it will not work. It will not work. So another pointer about your variables is variables cannot start with numbers. Line number 26, it is accepted. Line number 28 is not accepted. That means you need to understand that. You cannot start with, you can end with numbers. I don't have any problem. But if you want to give the variable names, you cannot go and start with the number. And you can give this. I'm okay with this. For example, Dhoni 7 player equal to coolest person. Now this is acceptable. This is acceptable. If you want to use numbers, if you want to use special characters, that is underscore. Or if you want to use special characters in the maybe underscore in the beginning and then I'm acceptable. I'm acceptable. But what I'm not acceptable is what I have given in this content. Variable names are case sensitive. Variable name should be a single word. Variable names can have only one special character and variables cannot start with. Now, this is what you need to understand. Okay. Now, I will give few examples. You need to tell me whether it is accepting or not accepting. Okay. So that's the question for you, right? Let's make it. Is it acceptable?
Yes.
Yes, Santosh.
Is it acceptable?
Yes.
Yes, Santosh.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, acceptable. Yes, Santosh.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Santosh.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Underscore is underscore.
It will work with underscore. Okay. Now, this is also fine.
No.
Not absent.
Yes.
Only underscore is allowed.
No. Don't accept the other
No.
special characters. Only underscore.
Yeah, it will be acceptable.
Yes.
Will work.
Yes, it work.
No.
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 Not acceptable.
No.
No.
No,
Only
Santosh.
No.
underscore.
Only
Underscore, right?
Other special characters.
Think and answer is one word.
You want the special character dot not allowed.
It's not allowed.
Yes.
Yes,
Dot
Santosh.
is not allowed. Only
It's not
underscore is
allowed.
allowed.
So
Yes.
now you should be good with all the points in the variables. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, Santosh.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, Santosh.
So please maintain this forever because variables is something which is the first topic which you are learning in Python. If you ask me why we need variables, I can ask you simple question. Go to your kitchen, ask your mom why you need separate container for separate items. If she answers this question, I will also answer this question, why you really need variables. Is a deal okay? Your variables
Yes.
are used to store some values. Your variables are used to store some values. Okay. Now, there is one thing which I can go and define it. Let's say what is that? I have given A equal to 58. I have given B equal to KSR. I have given C equal to 3.14. I am assigning some values. Okay. Now, if I go and use print of A, I'll see what has been stored in A. I can see it. If I go and write print of B, I can see what is stored in B. If I go and write print of C, I can see what is written in C, correct? Similarly, the one which you're seeing in the green color, it's actually a keyword. The one which you're seeing in the green color, it's actually a keyword. Keyword will have a different meaning. If I go and see type of A, if I go and see type of A, just like I've given print of C or print of A, if I also give the print type of A, it will tell me what type is actually been stored here. INT stands for integer. INT stands for integer. So this type is there, right? This type will give us what data type it is. Whether it's a number, whether it's a string, whether it's a decimal, those type of things it will give you. So type equal to A. Okay. Type of A will give you the integer. Now type of B I will do. So type of B, Python is also a bit lazy. It will not give you the full word. It will give you str. So str stands for string. INT stands for integer. INT stands for integer. STR stands for, right? And let's see what is this stands for. Type of C. It stands for float. So we have totally, for now, we have 3 data types. Okay. We have integer, we have string, and we have float. So it will tell you what data type it is. A means integer, B means string, and C means float. Okay. Now, I will go and do one thing. I will store A equal to 58 students, total students equal to 58, 58. All these are acceptable, right? All these are acceptable. Underscore is also acceptable. So acceptable, right? All these are acceptable, right? There is a word called type. It's actually a keyword. Type equal to 45. Type equal to 45. Acceptable or not acceptable?
It will not.
You not accept.
It will not accept.
We don't accept.
If I go and give type equal to 45, it has accepted. It has accepted. Okay. Now, if I go and say type of print of type, if I give print of type, I'm getting 45. I'm getting 45, right? So that means I've assigned 45 to type. So print of type, it's still giving 45. That means line number 45 and 46 are working fine. But now if I go and write type of A, the one which I've used here, line number 44, I've given type of A, type of B, type of C. Now if I do, now what will happen? The original property of that type function has been overwritten. Initially, the type function was actually helping us to figure out what data type it is. Because of you people, what you people have done, you have assigned some value to the keyword. The original property of the keyword is lost. So my last point about the variables is it will not throw any error. That's why I'm saying variables are case sensitive. Variables should be single word. Variables can have, but the last point I will say is don't use keywords names. It is allowing, okay, it will allow, but you don't use it. That's why I'm giving don't use keywords for your variable names. What is happening is actually the type function, if you see, the type function tells you what data type it is. But what you did, you have actually assigned some value. It is accepting. But end of the day, what is happening here in the line number 45, it is working. In the line number 47, it's not working. That means what happened? You have overwritten the logic of type. So it was actually designed to do one function, but you have overwritten. Because of this, the property of the type function is being lost. So in future, don't ever assign a key value to your keyword to your any number. So that's why I'm saying here, don't use keywords. Now this property is lost, right? If I want to overcome, I have to go to kernel and I have to go and restart the kernel. So if I restart the kernel, all the variable names will be lost. If all the variable names is lost, that type variable also will be lost. Okay. So by chance, if you want to, we can actually clean up. But here what I'm doing, I have changed the property of type, which is very important for me. But to show as an example, I have actually assigned some value. So I'll go and restart the kernel. So the moment you restart the kernel, all variables will be lost. I'm okay with that. So I will go and give restart. Okay. Now again, you can go and give all this. It will work. So this will not work anyway. And this will work. This also will not work. And again, I'll go and write shift enter, shift enter, shift enter. And all this will work. Again, you can rerun it. No problem. You can rerun everything. Everything will be assigned. This also will not be allowed. This will 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 not be allowed. This will be allowed. This will be allowed. This will be allowed. This will be allowed. And now you see type of C, it will work. So at any point of time, please don't go and run this. Please don't go and run this. Okay, if you want to delete any cell, you can always go and click this scissors. Automatically it will be deleted. Okay, so please don't write any keywords which is not acceptable. I am not okay with that because it is going to change the features of your original. Are we all good? Yes.
Yes, Santosh.
Okay. Now, you would have observed in the line number 21, for one thing I'm giving quotes, for one thing I'm not giving quotes. Right? For one thing I'm giving quotes, for one thing which I'm not giving quotes. For number, I'm not giving any quotes. For text value, I'm giving the quotes. Now, some people, you may have a question. Why is that? So, any string value, I would always try to give on the quotes. And a normal numbers, I can simply go and write. I can simply go and write in the without quotes. Okay. Now, observe carefully. Now, ABC equal to KSR data vision. Okay, ABC equal to KSR data vision. Now it's working. Okay, it's working. Now, if I go and also print ABC, it will work. Okay. Now, if you want to give quotes, I'm actually giving double quotes. Actually, I'm giving double quotes. Start with double, end with double. Okay. Now, XYZ. If I write like this, it will not accept. Because it's a string, I have to give it in quotes. Now I'll use single quotes. I'll give single quotes. Now that also will work. Whether you give double quotes or you give single quotes, I'm least bothered. Right? I'm least bothered. You either give double quotes or you give single quotes. I am least bothered because your Python has a capability to accept both. You either give the capitals or you give a small, it will still accept. Right? It will still accept. But I will tell you what is not acceptable. What is not acceptable? You cannot go and give. Okay. It's a common sense. If you start with double quotes, you have to end with double quotes. You have to start with, if you start with single quotes, you have to end with single quotes. That's a common sense that we need to follow. Okay. Now tell me, going forward, shall we use single quotes or shall we use double quotes? Both will work. Which one you want to use? I'm giving the option to you.
Double quote is best.
Double quotes.
Why? Single quotes is also working. I can use single words, single quotes, right? Which
both.
one you are okay? Single quotes or double quotes? Which one you are happy with it? We can use both. Which one you'll accept?
So those both are okay because system is allowing us to give double and single quotes as well.
Yeah, system is okay, but what you prefer?
But in real scenario, we sometimes we using the single quote for the few words for the strings or strings.
Okay.
So to give this answer, like in the case of text, we use double quotes, and when we go to SQL, we use single quotes. So we okay with both.
Okay, you're okay with both, right? You're okay with both. Now tell me what is happening. What is happening? Okay. I will give one variable. I'll give one variable. I'll put it in a single quotes. Okay. Data vision. Do you have any problem? Is it working? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Data vision. KSR data vision is India's best institute. What is happening here?
It will share.
After India, we have used this. So that's why. Yeah.
Oh, just because KSR data vision is not a best institute, it's throwing error. Is it because of that?
No, not
No,
because
the
of that.
best
Because
place.
after India, we have used single quote.
Considering from KSR till
After
India,
India,
that is the end of the single quote.
Considering
invalid.
from considering from here, it is completing here. But ideally, it is end of this one. In order to tackle this, let's not make life complicated. We will always go with double quotes. In between, whatever it is there, it will accept. So the problem is single quotes, it works fine. But in between, if the text itself has a single quotes, then why all these complications? So let's keep it always double quotes. Right? Are we good?
Yes, Santosh.
Okay. Is line number 30 true? Is line number 30 true?
Yes.
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 Is it? Okay. Now going forward, we'll use actually double quotes. See, you do like this also. You make it single quotes here. It will not accept because it is thinking that it will start here and it will end here. You can make this as double quotes, but it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. We will not try it like this. It will still work. Okay, it will still work, but this is not the way we do it, right? This is not the way we do it. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So better what we will do, we will put quotes here. This is fine. Okay. Now, one question I'll ask you. I have first defined A equal to 75. Now, if I go and write print of A, 75 is there. Now, can I go and make A equal to 80 now? Is overwriting possible?
Yes. We can define
Yes.
one.
Yes. If I go and assign it now again, now the value of A will be 80. Well, variables are varying. That's why the name they have kept vary. Vary means what? It can keep on varying over time. The name of the variable itself, it is varying over time. So variables can always be overwritten, right? So once you define it, maybe if you want to change it, you can go and change it anytime. So that's the beauty of your variables. So variables can be overwritten. Okay. Now this is about variables. Variables, I can simply say that you can overwrite. We can overwrite, and variables are changeable. That's why it is called variable. Okay. And why do we need variables? Variables gives the property of storing something. It may be useful. Why it is useful, I'll tell you. Suppose I want to add two numbers. Very simple. A equal to 7, B equal to 3. And I want to store this C equal to A plus B. I can always go and add this. And I can go and print off C I can do. If tomorrow I want to add another number, you can simply go and change your, automatically it will be added. If tomorrow I want to change 17, 4, then it will become 21. Like this, I can use it, I can store it once, I can use it whenever I want. Okay. successfully. Today, we have completed one topic in Python, and the topic which we have learned is variables. We have seen everything about variables. Where we started, how we started, what are the naming conventions that we can give, what is the properties of variables, everything we have covered. Everything we have covered. And the important point you need to remember is this content. I have made this Jupyter notebook as my notes itself. So what is about variables? Variables are placeholders. Store it and it will be useful for future purpose. Variables are case sensitive. Python itself is a case sensitive. So variables are also case sensitive. Variable name should be a single word. Variable names can have only one special character, that is underscore, and all the special characters are not allowed, and followed by names cannot start with the numbers. Don't use a keyword. You can use it. It's not a I mean, it's not throwing any error, but you don't do it because you're changing the original property of that function. Now all these are things which you need to remember. We have successfully completed our first session. The first session, what we have learned is variables. Is it clear? Any doubts?